Hi, girls. I'm so happy you're here today. This is Kathy from Rekindle Communications, and I met her through an entrepreneur event. She hustles, which we also know Christine from. But it's an event in the Orlando area in Lake Nona. It's based with awesome women, and it's been able to help me connect with beautiful people like you. And I love your services. I love that you are so knowledgeable in social media and copywriting, and I think you have so much to share with us. So I think I'd like to start off with a little background of yourself and how you came up with the name Rekindle Communications.
Yeah, so I was definitely agonizing over the name because obviously it's really important, right? Because that, represents your brand and everything. So I think I had done bartering or like pro bono service for someone that I met on a Facebook group, which basically just means I was doing work for them for free. And then in exchange, they were going to, give me a testimonial or like offer me something at the time. So I was doing that. And then she was someone who was really not confident in social media and just about marketing in general. And as we kind of started working together, and as I was kind of learning a little bit more about social media myself, she instead of me coming to her to share ideas, she would like want to approach me like, hey, I have this really cool idea, I want to try this. Or like she'd even do things on her own where she would like, do her own contest or giveaway or something. And I just thought it was so cool that working with her, like it kind of sparked an excitement again that she had in her business. And I think with her, she was having a hard time connecting, the reason why behind what she does, and translating it online. And so I was thinking, wow, it's so cool to see her like, I don't know, the word spark came to mind for me. And so I was like, I would love to help people. I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but I would love to help people like rekindle that spark that kind of brought them to start their business in the first place and kind of, translating that online. So that's kind of how I came up with the name.
I love that. I'm not sure. Do you
Yeah.
have that in your website?
I don't. I probably should go more into detail about that. But
I didn't know, honestly. I was like, I don't know, maybe she likes fire. Maybe she's like a campy girl. But I like that meaning behind it. I think it's really beautiful. So yeah, I think you should definitely continue to share that.
Yeah.
And so during that time when you were working with her, did you realize that like this could be a business, or when did the idea kind of really take off for you?
Yeah, so it was actually my last the winter break before my last semester of college, which is funny because you would think that by the end of college you know what you're going to do, right? But obviously there were different plans in my life, I guess. So my father had grown up, he'd always been an entrepreneur. He did real estate stuff. And so, but I wasn't really interested in it. It didn't make sense to me and I was kind of annoyed. I kind of grew up, knowing, you need to go to school, you need to get good grades, get a good job, the white picket fence, get the house, get the family. Like that was always like my vision of entrepreneurship. So I guess he's always sent me resources for years about entrepreneurship, about just leadership stuff in general. And so, but I always like pushed it aside because I was like, I already know that I want to have a 9 to 5. And so then I was kind of thinking about it, during my last semester of college, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do after I graduate? Which at the time I was like going towards a career in the nonprofit sector. So something like that. That was my original intent. So he sent me a video about, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki. I know he's a popular name,
Um,
but he's basically like a very old school entrepreneur, anything with business and leadership and stuff like that. So he's kind of, he's created the game, what's it called? The book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a pretty
oh yeah.
popular entrepreneur. Yeah, so that's him. So my dad sent me a resource about, it's called the cash flow quadrant. And I was wondering if I could actually share my screen so I could like show it.
Go ahead, see
I
if
don't
it
know.
works.
Okay. Hopefully this works. Okay, cool. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so he sent this to me, and, because my thought was always to be an employee, right? And so, but that's right here. And so the cash flow quadrant, basically, it's just this idea of like getting to financial freedom, being able to feel free with your finances and not being so tied down with them. So this is basically like what you should, I mean, I don't know. It's basically like what he did to gain financial freedom. And so I was thinking all this time that I wanted to be an employee, but I was like, wow, do I want to work for money my whole life? Like, do I really want to slave away and then not, and not be building something of my own, or like not being, being able to be at a place where I can invest in things and have passive income and, prepare for retirement, things like that. And so it just kind of, I don't know, just opened my mind to the possibility that there's so much more than just a job. And on top of that, I just kind of realized I don't know if I really want to work for someone my whole life. And I've always had this kind of, let me stop that. I've kind of always had this idea that I really want to enjoy my family, like whenever I get ready to have a family one day with my husband. Just because when I was growing up, my parents were working a lot, so I like barely saw them. And so that's something I've always been convicted about. And I realized, I'd love to be able to work from home, do what I love, but then also have time to spend with family, and then also not feel tied to like a job. And so I was like, maybe I do want to try this entrepreneurship thing, And my husband, he's owned his business for like 11 years. And so he's been an entrepreneur too. And so we've always kind of butted heads like while we were dating and stuff. Cause I was like, are you sure you want to do that? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then I kind of realized, the freedom and just so much opportunity that comes with being an entrepreneur. And I'm like, you know what the heck, I'll try it. And so I've been doing it for about a year now. And I haven't stopped since. I mean, it's working out so far. So we'll see moving forward. But
That is
yeah,
super
so that's kind of how.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting that your dad was kind of like sparking this thing inside of you, because I don't typically hear that story. I hear the
Mm.
parents are always like, what? At least like my mom. My mom
Uh,
at first, I don't think she was on board with it until, I don't know, a few months in, when she saw I would like go to work and listen to a podcast every single day and then come home to work. Like I was working all hours.
mm,
I definitely want to read that book, because
mm,
I'm trying to think of my business in that way too. How to build passive income, how to invest in um,
right.
maybe in the future like stock markets, but even in people to outsource and do projects that I don't really want to do right now. So
Yes,
that
absolutely.
would be an interesting book to read, and I'm glad that you put it up there because that was really fun.
Yeah, I'm glad it was helpful. So yeah.
So my next question is, what was the most courageous thing you've done prior to business or even during business, whichever one you want to answer, or both?
I mean, I'll be honest, starting this entrepreneur journey has been probably the most courageous thing that I've done in my life so far. So I think I'll probably talk about something specific that I recently experienced. I had a situation, and I think we were talking earlier this week, and I think I told you about it, but I had a situation with a client where I thought they were my ideal client, and I really thought that, this is it, like they're willing to pay, they understand my value, and they're paying me good money, and all is well, right? And so then I realized after working with them that it just wasn't a good fit, and I was just so afraid to let go of the money because he really was paying like a good penny. And so I was like, I don't know if I can give this up. And so I kind of got in this mindset of, I just need to make him happy. I need to try to do whatever I can to keep him. And I kind of got into this mindset of desperation, which whenever you get into a desperate mindset, that's never, good, right? So I kind of had to come to terms with myself and realize I need to let him go. And I think that was probably, at least up to this point, the most courageous thing I've done in my business, because it's kind of helped me realize that I can't always be thinking about the money, right? I have to think about what's best for me, what's best for my business, and what my business vision really is, and who I actually want to serve, and kind of working in my zone of genius, I guess you could say. And he was just not it. And that's not saying he's, you know, bad or like whatever. It's just I couldn't meet his expectations, and he didn't, you know, he had a different idea of what I was going to do for him. And overall, it was just, I needed to let him go. And so I think that making that decision was really hard, but I think in the long run, I think it'll definitely serve me, because I want to be serving who I want to serve, right? I don't want to just do work for people that I don't really align with. So that was hard, but yeah, and that was fairly recent too. But yeah, so I would say that would be it.
That's amazing that you were able to kind of like stand up for yourself and build that boundary within your business. And I heard something the other day, when people think of boundaries, they think what they aren't, like what wall are they putting up and saying no to, but it's also what are you allowing in. And so you're allowing people who have those values, kind of like I shared with you before. Well, we kind of went deeper in that conversation now that I think about it. But yeah, just finding your ideal client, even if in the beginning you thought it was one thing and then you realize, okay, this isn't it. It's totally fine to transition into something else in the future. So
Right.
kudos to you.
Thank you.
And I do have another question. It's about the social media audit. If you can kind of talk about that. I'm trying to get her to join the Facebook group now. She said she'll join and then she'll be able to see it live. But you can
Okay.
kind of give a background of that service.
Yeah, so it was actually during the pandemic that, I mean, we're still in a pandemic, but when it was kind of starting, I was trying to think of, you know, everyone was saying, what are some small, quick wins that you can do have in your business right now? And, you know, what are some low barrier offers that you can provide your clients that, you know, can serve them in some way? So I was like, why don't I just offer social media audits? And so what I do basically is I will just look at your profile. I'll check like links. I'll check kind of the strategy that you're using, your Instagram bio. I mean, I do it for Instagram, but I do it for Facebook as well. I'll be honest, I don't really do Pinterest. I feel like that's a whole other category in itself. Yeah. So, but I mostly focus on Facebook and Instagram for audits. And so I'll just kind of look at, you know, cover photos, like things that it's very detailed things that you might not realize that you're doing. So I'll just kind of take note of them and send it back to you. And so you can just quickly, you know, optimize your profile for cheap. And it's just something simple that I can do for businesses. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. So
Yeah.
you can pull up her profile now, and since it is recorded, if she doesn't hop on, she'll be able to see it later. And
Okay.
then Christine, I guess if you want to take notes for your social media too, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Collecting Memories Travel. And I will say off the bat, the first thing I wanted to commend her, because I was like, oh, that's an interesting link, because a lot of times people will just put like their website with nothing specific, just kind of their general website. So I was like, oh, it's a webinar. So I clicked on it, but then I realized as I was like scrolling down, I realized that this webinar was actually on May 7th. And so it's actually out of date. So, and it's something, and I think with Instagram or audits in general, it's very easy to, like, it seems like very minute things, but it actually makes a big difference when people are looking at your profile and they're like, and if, you know, if someone were to sign up for this and then realize that it had passed, you know, that's just kind of annoying for a user to kind of have to figure out and go through. So if they were doing a webinar, or if she was doing a webinar that was up to date, I would put a specific call to action saying, hey, check out this webinar, you know, about fill in the blank or whatever. Something else that I realized too was that I don't think that the message me today is necessarily important. Not that it's not important, but it's just kind of a little bit in your face. And also, I usually recommend having one call to action when it comes to your bio, because it's supposed to be snappy, quick, you know, to the point. So if you're going to have someone do a call to action, you want to you want to make sure that they're going to one specific action that you want them to do, right? So it says message me today, but it also has a link here. So people might be like, what do I do? You know? So making sure, I would probably just get rid of this altogether. And also, I think that it's cool that she says that she's on the knot. However, I'm wondering if it might be better to have some type of like link here that is a link tree, or like a link, an unlinked website page, like a landing page, and then you can include different links that say, hey, check me out on the knot, or check me out here, or whatever. So let's see, I was scrolling down too, and I think in general that, I mean, some of the photos are beautiful, right? But there's some that are not really cohesive, like, you know, the fonts here and the font here, it seems a little, I mean, it doesn't really match. So I think with Instagram specifically, you want to, I mean, you don't have to have beautiful photos, but maybe just incorporate photos that are like in your logo, and, you know, making sure you're using the same fonts whenever you're making a graphic, because it just adds to the consistency and it just looks overall more professional. Let's see. I do like that she has the highlights. I know not a lot of people have that, but I think it would be nice to make it look more branded, to have highlight cover photos, or like, it doesn't even have to be like nice graphic things, like, you know, like a little icon things. It could be that, or it could just be like the basic colors of her brand. That's what I have on my page, just because it helps add, again, with that brand cohesiveness, and with Instagram, that's usually important. I will say that I do like that she has, you know, personal photos like included in it, and, you know, showing the personal touch behind her brand, which I think is good. So I will give her kudos to that. But I would also make sure that the message here, I just think that it could be, let me help you plan that special vacation and start collecting memories. So the thing is, like, you could be anyone. So I'm wondering if it might be better to just say, like, I help families, or I help, you know, fill in the blank, or if she has a specific type of like audience that she's trying to target here, it might be better to call them out here. That way people know, like, oh, this page is for me, instead of like a generic you, because it's like you could be anyone, and if you're trying to target everyone, you're targeting no one, right? Because you want to be specific when it comes to messaging and stuff. So I would probably change this if she has a specific like target audience that she's trying to target. I do like the start collecting memories. I think that's important because of course, like, you help people plan vacation, but like, what's the deeper psychological meaning behind it? You want to help people create memories. So I think that that's really good that she has that there. I think it's cute. I think there's another option on Instagram. I'm pretty sure you can go into your settings and then add a category here. So she could like put travel agency. That way people know this is a travel agency, because they, I mean, going to this, I can kind of assume or like think that it's like a travel agency, but I wasn't really 100% sure until I was like scrolling down. So including a category would help make it more clear that this is a travel agency. And the good thing about it too is that it doesn't take up like bio space. It's just a separate section of the bio, so you can still include stuff here. I'm also wondering, this is technically the name, and if you go back in the profile settings, like, this is like the name that you put in. So I'm wondering if she could put like her name and then kind of like I don't know what it's called, but like that line or something that says Emily, you know, independent by Liberty Travel, and then, you know, another line, collecting memories, or something like that, because this, I mean, it's important to show like the human and the person behind the brand, but I feel like there could be something different here that's calling to, you know, the audience, because, you know, you only have so much room here. You want to make sure that you're talking to your audience as much as possible rather than talking about yourself. So I would recommend that. And I think other than that, I mean, she has a lot of followers. Oh, something else too, looking into it, it's she includes some hashtags here and there, which is good. But I think that if you include a little bit, more hashtags, or at least, I know it's kind of hard, like creating, I know people say like have 30 hashtags for each post, and I know sometimes that's not realistic. So usually I recommend clients, if they're doing it on their own, to at least have 15 per post, or like 10 to 15 per post, as if they're getting started. That way, you're helping get onto the explore page and getting accounts to follow you. Let's see. Yeah, I would say that. I think that's basically it. So I guess for her, for Emily, I would just say make sure that you update your link here. I would put either, if you're doing another webinar, you would put a call to action saying, hey, like check out this webinar. But if you have nothing going on, I would put a link tree page here, or like some type of landing page that has different links that are, attached to it. And I can show her what that looks like really quickly if this loads. Yeah, so this is just a landing page that's unlinked to my website. These are just different links that they can click. So that would be good here. Just update the highlight covers, make them branded with the colors of your brand. That way it looks nicer rather than just like photos. And then just in general, if you are gonna create graphics, make sure that you're keeping the same colors, you're keeping the same fonts, because it just adds to that more professional and cohesive look. And yeah, I think that's all I had.
I love that. Could I comment really quick and then you can share your thoughts with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess let's start where it says collecting memories. You know how you have your name, Kathy, and then you have the line collecting, or you have Rekindle?
Yeah.
I've also heard something that I've done on my page is I put Orlando brand photographer, because you could also search through Instagram. So maybe she could put something like Emily Line travel agency. So if someone's searching travel agent. And then for the message me today, I was thinking, I heard that if you have your email on your mobile, on your like device, you can click on it through mobile, but when you're on here, you can't see the email. So maybe adding the email on one of those lines instead of the message me. And so if a brand online is looking for a travel agent, they'll be able to just copy and paste that and send them an email. And then lastly, it's like similar to what you're saying, but I'm just thinking of like, a little.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And then for the I'm on the knot, I think she's expressing that because it shows like, what's the word?
Authority.
Authority, there you go. And so she could include something like that in her review section, so that they'll see that, and it's not completely gone if she decides to take that away. But just like
I think it is. Yeah, because I was thinking about it, and I mean, it does add authority. So and I think it's cute, and it's like kind of like, oh, I'm on the knot, like kind of playful. So I think it is cute. But I think adding it to the reviews too would be a good idea.
Yeah, because then that'll be room for the call to action that she places there.
Right.
But yeah, that was really good. And I know I have a few things to change too.
Yeah, I mean, same. Like no one's is perfect, so.
Constantly having to update things.
Yeah, for sure.
I did have a question. On our last call, you mentioned to make sure that we don't have like broken links in our Instagram bio. How can we make sure of that?
I mean, it's just as simple as going into the link and clicking it and just testing, if it works or not.
Okay. It's just that
Yeah.
it happens to me a lot, and I don't know if it's like an Instagram glitch or
Oh,
my actual
okay.
name, but people have messaged me saying that it's broken, and I don't know. I didn't know if it was
Oh,
something I was.
gotcha. So like it works on your end, but when someone else tries to click it, it's not working? Like that kind of thing?
No, just sometimes it doesn't even work. So they'll tell me about it
Wow.
and I'll click it and it's gone. But it could be a glitch. So just wondering.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you just have to constantly check. I mean, not constantly, but at least once a month, just making sure is everything good. You know what I mean? And that goes like for your website too, just in general. It's a good rule of thumb to make sure like links are working.
For sure. Well, thank you for that.
Hmm.
Another question, I think you could stop sharing because I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know if this
Okay.
will hop on.
Yeah, yeah.
Another question I had was if the pandemic has kind of helped you pivot, which I could see that you kind of already have, but has it just changed anything else like in your mindset and how you run your business right now?
I think that with the industry that I'm in, I'm realizing how important it is, like for businesses to be comfortable on the online space or like in the online space. So I mean, I know this is kind of specific towards like me, and with the pandemic, it didn't like affect my business as much as it did other businesses, and I'm fortunate for that. But it kind of just gave me confidence that even more so that what I'm selling and what I'm doing is benefiting businesses, and it's kind of helped my messaging too, and just letting people know like, hey, it's 2020, like it's about time. Yeah, you at least have a fake, because I mean some people don't even have Facebook pages for their business, or and it's like you can't afford to do that anymore at this point in the game, so I think it's also shown me that you need to be, in general, like with your business, you need to constantly think about what your audience needs. And I know that sounds so simple, and it really is, but it's so hard to think about sometimes, because with businesses that I've worked with, and I've seen from far in the distance, sometimes they just get so caught up in their services and their offers that they're not willing to pivot, and they're not willing to try something new, try a different service, or try even to like splinter off a service. Because like, for example, my social media audit, that's something that I do for my retainer clients already. So it's just something that I took away from my main core offer and made it a small, I made it not necessarily a pivot, but just I created a new service that serves my clients in a different way
Mhm.
that they needed at the time, during the pandemic. So it's just helped me realize too that you have to be comfortable with changing with, and when it comes to serving your audience, because their needs will always be changing, and you need to be able to keep up with it rather than being stuck on, these are my services, this is what I do, and that's it. So I think that's helped. That's kind of what I've gotten from the pandemic with the perspective change.
I love that. It has been a bit difficult for me to try to adapt, but I've been trying, and I think we as entrepreneurs we constantly have to remind ourselves that we should be adapting.
Yeah.
That's one trait that I believe, we should have. So, do you think that there's another trait that you feel an entrepreneur I don't like to say should have, or like it would be helpful if they had it?
Mm. I think just grit.
Mm,
I think it's very, and I hate when people are like, we as women, like, I mean, I get it. We're all girls, and like we're emotional, and kind of thing. But like in the female entrepreneur space, like you have to be willing to, at least for me, and I say this like preaching to myself,
yeah.
you have to be able to look at situations, look at business decisions, whatever you're doing, taking the emotion, taking that aside, and just looking at it logically, and looking at, what is best for my business, or like, what do I need to do? And being willing to be comfortable with failing, because you're going to fail. That's guaranteed. It's not even like, oh, if you do good, you won't fail. Like, you're going to fail. And I think, and I mean, not royally fail, but you're going to, not get it right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be not only okay with that, but you have to expect it, and know that it's just the process of growth, and it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. And so that's something that I'm constantly having to remind myself of all the time. So yeah, I think that that's probably the most important thing an entrepreneur should have.
Yeah, it's definitely how we learn, like
Yeah.
the little mistakes that we made, or not even mistakes, just how can we do this better and how can we improve next time. So I love that response. I want to
Absolutely.
ask Christine really quick, is there anything that you want to ask? I'm just wondering. No? Okay.
No, not particularly. I mean, if you want to do another audit, I'm down, but terrified.
I mean, I'd love to do another audit, but it looks like we have 7 minutes. So, I mean, we
Okay.
could do it,
No,
but we, I mean, it would take up the rest of the time. So, I mean, it's up to you.
it's up to Krystal.
We are running out of time, but if you can
Okay.
pull it up really quick and you want to give her like maybe 3 tips, we can do that.
Okay. What's the handle?
I will drop it in chat.
Oh, smart. Look at that.
Look, tools at our disposal.
Right. I know. Love that. Okay. Let's
So
see.
this literally got started June 17th, just for,
Your page?
yes.
Oh, wow. I mean, it looks beautiful already.
Cute.
Let's see. All right. So
I'm hoping we don't have to worry about much and then we're good.
right? Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about what you do? Or actually, no, let me not. Let me not ask, because I want to see if I know what you do based off of this. All right. Okay, so I'm assuming you're some type of like wellness page. Okay, and you have holistic narrative. Okay. Stop chasing your profession. Ah, I like the emojis. I like the kind of the before and after. I think that's pretty cool that you show that there. Let's see. Let's check this out. See if this
My
is
coming soon page.
Oh, so this is your oh my, coming soon. Oh, you said coming soon page. I was like, what is going on? Okay, so this is like your coming soon website.
Yeah, landing page.
Okay, cool. Cool. I would say that okay, let me try to be quick. With the landing page, I think that you coming soon, it's like I kind of had to sign up to be among the first to be invited to website launch party. I would probably include some type of text here saying like coming soon of like holistic narrative is brand, like whatever your you know thing is, kind of explaining what you are, because I mean I didn't know that. Oh, sorry, that was my dog. Website. Yeah, I think it would be good to kind of just explain like this is who we are, this is what's coming up, and kind of explain that it's actually a website launch party, because the text here is super big and pretty, but then people don't really know it's a website launch party unless they look at this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I would make sure that that is kind of the main feature of the landing page. But I mean, the landing page is beautiful. I love that you have the countdown. I think that's really cool. I don't even know how to do that. I mean, I probably look into it. Let's see. All right, so you got your hashtags. That's good. I think find peace in your body. So follow my journey and resources. I think that you should include here a call to action saying like coming soon, like launch party or something about the launch party, because I wouldn't have known that you had a website launch party coming up unless I clicked on the link. I assume that you were just going to share some type of like landing page of like an email subscribe list or like tools or whatever, but it leads to the website launch party thing. So I would put some type of call to action there saying something specific about that. That way people know like, oh, okay, it's in the coming, or it's up and coming. So Do you have anything, Krystal? I mean, I think I really do like the language here. I think it's just coming to the page. I didn't think I understood that it was like a wellness page. I mean, I hear holistic wellness, so it might be because I'm not the ideal target audience, but do you have any thoughts, Krystal?
Yeah, I think it's well, I need to fix my profile too, but
We all do. It's
yeah,
fine.
Right?
kind of how you said, who's your ideal client? It would be cool to put, for example, I know some people say like helping mompreneurs. And so that's
Yeah.
what, if I'm a mom and I'm an entrepreneur, I hop on this page and I'm like, this is for me. So putting something like that that's clear rather than something that's cute. I'm only saying because my mentor told me this and I was like, are you joking me right now? But yeah, I also have my mission statement on my bio: empowering women, capturing love, and telling raw stories. And it probably isn't as clear as it needs to be. So that's why I said I need to change it. But yeah, I think if you can put who your ideal client is, so who you have, and then also, like she said, the call to action, I think that alone would help change what it is right now. But I do think it is a cute mission statement.
Yeah. I mean, and you could even include this copy like on your landing page if you wanted to, and then include the specific, ideal client here. And yeah, I think that would be great.
For sure. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, and it's cute. I love the aesthetic. I mean, you'd be surprised. People really don't have an eye for it. And it seems like you do. That's definitely apparent. So kudos to that. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Well, we literally have a minute left.
Well, I just wanted to thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate that you did 2 social media audits and that you just were willing to share your journey with us. I know that it is going to inspire a lot of women on here. So let us know where we can learn more about your services and where we can support you and cheer you on.
Yeah. So I'm rekindlecommunications.com. Like, that's my website. On Instagram, it's rekindle_com. And you could basically find me there. And then my Facebook is just Rekindle Communications. So those are the places you can find me. And say hello.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much again. And I will be posting this on the group and so people can see the replay.
Awesome. It was great talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.